can. Is that working now? Sounds like it's working. Oh, let me just move OBS across. Okay. So, I definitely need to work on my setup a bit, but never mind. Let's get the light on. Get a fresh pad. That's terrible. So, good evening to anyone that might be watching. There's probably not, but that's fine. See if we can get a bit more paint on a couple more of these models. So we got what 1, 2, and 3 done last night. Looking okay. Let's see if we can get some more done tonight. It is warm and muggy here tonight, so this is probably going to be quite a short stream, maybe an hour, probably a bit less. Let's see if we can get at least 2 done. I should easily be able to get 2 done, really, that's the whole point. So if you didn't see yesterday, I am working my way through a little bit of a slap shot project and trying to get a workable scheme for my Gene Stealer Colts army. So I'm using speed paint. I've got 17 different models that I've primed in different slap chop methods with different colour combinations. So I'm just going through each one, painting them to the same scheme and seeing how we get on. I plan to make a proper video of this. This is kind of how this little project started. But life gets in the way, doesn't it, sometimes? So there's more important things than painting minis sometimes. Most of the time. It is, after all, just toy soldiers. Let's just quickly get some paint on this palette. And see what we can do. Wow, it really is hot in here actually. This could be a struggle. So this one is number 4. Let's have a look in the little book of doom. Number 4, black base, grey overbrush, pale sand dry brush. So a bit more warmth. Let's see if that does any different to the previous, which is the same steps, but with a white dry brush. So I had confirmation from the outpost today that my Leviathan order is secure. So once I've finished painting these guys, these 17 over the next week, I'll be streaming the build and paint of the Space Marines half, probably. I am going to paint them in Imperial Fists, like this little test model here. So, not a bad little model, I don't think. I'm probably going to grimdarkify my Imperial Fist scheme a little bit. I watched Vincey V's video the other day and that looked like a good way to go. See if we can mop up that overspill. It's a bit better. Says flash. So I've managed to fix one of the issues from last night's stream, which was my camera timing out every 10 minutes. It should now be every 30 minutes, and if I can remember to push a button, then we shouldn't have any camera timeout issues. That's probably not that sustainable because I'll probably knacker the sensor quite quickly. So I will need to figure out what I'm going to do longer term if I'm going to carry on streaming. Which I think I'd like to at the minute. I quite enjoyed doing it last night. I talk to myself in my head all the time, so if I just vocalise a bit more, then we should get on okay. But let's wait and see. That is not the colour for that. That is the grey, and I want the black. That's a bit better. So as you can see, I'm not being particularly careful because it's speed paint. It's meant to be quick and a bit dirty. Well, for a tabletop army at least. So, just trying to see how quickly I might be able to knock these out. I'm not really used to using speed paint so much, so it's a good bit of practice with these as well. I definitely have a bit of nuance to them, but I guess any paint does. So this guy has got some more niddy arms. So what I did yesterday was use purple first, $5 purple, and that was too dark. So I'm going to go for a bit of this purple alchemy first on this one, and then maybe go back with the purple once that's dried to nice and thin, just to see if we can get in those recesses and darken it down a little bit more. So this is going to probably be extraordinarily bright, but oh yes it is. So we'll definitely want knocking back with the purple, but let's just see how we get on for the hands. So the idea of this little slap shop project is to test a load of varying techniques, prep techniques really, and decide which one works the best for what I want. So minimal prep steps, ideally a base coat and a wash to pick out all, and then maybe a white dry brush as well. Let's live in a cave. Bit of background cave music because silence is dreadful. And this brush is suffering. Yeah, that is very, very different to yesterday's. You probably can't see it too well on this camera. Very pink compared to that purple. Let's see if I can hold this in frame the whole time painting here. I should be able to achieve that quite comfortably actually. I need to work on my painting camera position. Oh, what do we want this? So I was using this holy white for the armour panels. Yeah, I suppose it's done okay. It kind of gives them a bit of grey. So excuse me while I mute just to mix this. palette. So I'm using I'm probably using too many speed paints really. It doesn't lend itself to being a particularly quick method, but there's so many details on these gene stealers that it's nice to pick out a bit, make them a bit more interesting. I'm painting them up in a rusted claw scheme. So yeah, orange on all the fabrics, white armour panels, and I'll go back through after and throw on some rust effect. I've got some AK Interactive, or I've got some Dirty Down. I don't know which to use yet. Probably the AK because it's a bit more subtle. But we'll see. So I'm using the yellow for a couple of different things, in varying amounts. I do quite like it for a bit of a non-metallic metal gold. That's okay for that, and then a bit on the search lamp on them as well. What else do we want? Let's go for the grey out the weapon. I really love this grey. What is it? Gravelord grey. It's really nice for a quick non-metallic metal steel with the flat shot technique. Works really quite well, I think. A little bit of green for the grenade, and a bit of leather for the pistol pouch. And I think that's most of my... He has got lenses, so we'll bust out that blue. And just use the blue for his lenses on his goggles, because that's fun. Keeping the mini in frame, that's a tricky one. Yeah. If there is anyone in chat, say hello. It'd be nice to think someone's listening to my dulcet tones for 30 seconds, but probably after 30 seconds you won't be able to take any more, or I'm just sat talking in my head and not out loud, which is entirely possible, so I do apologise. This is very new to me, but it's interesting to try. So the stream's been going for 16 minutes according to my clock. So in 16 minutes I've pretty much done one of these to a point I'd be pretty happy to put it on the table, I think. So if I can, it's about 5 minutes in prep for each model in painting time. It's obviously not including drying time, but if I can get 20 minutes a model, yeah, I'll be able to knock through them quite quickly, and I might even be able to speed it up a bit more, which would be good, because if you play Gene Stick with Colts, you know you need quite a lot of models. I've brush painted some Acolyte hybrids. I'm just going to throw some purple over this pink to knock it back a bit. Yeah, if you've played Gene Stick with Colts, you know you need a lot of models. So I've got some Acolyte hybrids that I kind of trialled this scheme on. In fact, up here with the rock grinder. A brighter, arguably better paint job, but a different paint job, different style. So that's the general scheme. So this guy needs a bit of something around the cloth on his wrist. I don't know whether to just let that dry off a bit. Overspill there. I think it's okay. Get this leather around his wrists. It probably should be leather. I could use the orange cloth colour, but I don't think that would look quite right. Sneaky little pouch there. And there we go. 18 minutes on the clock. Yeah. Happy with progress. Man number 5. This guy, grey base, non-oil wash, and a white dry brush. So I've got hopefully high hopes for this. That new non-oil, excuse me, is very thin, and it seems pretty good for this sort of application actually. So let's get some paint on this. Let's see how we get on. The boots and the legs I'm kind of just treating as one. I'm just going black all over. And then the shin armour, I use a bit of the grey to do some steel. No need to get too detailed on the legs, I don't think. And keep them nice and dark, and then keep the focus up on the top half of the model. Some black on the shoulder pads. Sorry, not in shot. This guy's got gloves on as well, so I'll probably do those black. I might need to bust out a smaller brush. Just not flooding too many areas. We'll see. What I've done on the past couple of models is with this orange, is once it's dried I've just gone back over it to pick up that coverage a bit. I know speed paint's meant to be thin, but it's quite thin this orange, so just to get it to pop a bit more, get that brightness up on there. Alright, grey is just fantastic from the palette. Working well on this one. Brown on the bindings. Sorry, one out of shine. Helps if I've got it on the brush. Some more of that on the palette. So the brown I'm using is just a hardened leather. So this is Speed Paint 1.0. I haven't got the 2.0 paint set yet. Title of the stream is wrong, sorry, I forgot to update that. It's not the first hobby hangout, but kind of the second. There was 2 yesterday, but that was because there's some technical issues and I restarted. So a steel plate on the back of his hand and on his shins. Try and give them a little bit of differentiation between the black. I'm just going to throw some more. Is that, which one's the black? I'm going to throw some more black over his boots. That's thinned out quite a lot, and I do want them to be quite dark. I'm terrible for paint on my palette. I always put too much on my palette and waste a bit. I need to try and get better at that, and I'm quite messy with my wet palette. I was debating to switch to just a normal plastic palette for this speed paints, but with the temperature, I think they dry out so quick it's not worth it. So I'm just pushing the pace a bit because I want to see how quickly it actually can get through. And also with this armour, I'm not convinced I need to apply any paint to a lot of it really, because the slap chop process has done it for me. And because I'm going to just throw a bit of rust effect across it, just a few dots and dabs. I picked up a bit of yellow there, fantastic. I might get away with that for rust effect. Yeah, just gonna dot and dab some rust effect. So actually, because the armour panels want to be white anyway, it's 90% of the way there. Too much wet paint to do anything up there, so let's do a black glove. Yeah, I don't know if I'm working too wet, but I find if I don't work quite wet with this, I don't get the coverage that I like. Maybe I like a bit of a heavy coverage than you're meant to use with this speed paint, but otherwise I don't really find it has the desired effect for me, which means I either have to put the model down or wait for it to dry, bust out the hairdryer, but that's no good for streaming obviously. Or batch paint, but I'm trying not to do that with this process. I'm trying to do a model at a time, so I can tweak things on the fly a little bit more. Also, I don't want to tweak things too much because they're meant to be all quite consistent, but hey, I think he's alright. Difficult to see on that camera. I need to work on that. That's a little better. Let's see if I can get a closer shot of that one. So he's okay. They're quite a small model. I think with a bit of base and work he'd look okay on the tabletop. Flying through them, what time is it? 27 minutes, okay, so I might do this one and then call it, that'd be 3. So I can do 3 a night, maybe 3 and then have a big night. So this one, number 6, grey base, a dip wash and then a white dry brush. So this dip wash is inspired by Guy from Midwinter Minis. I made my own version, put a little bit more flow aid in it, and just messed around with it a bit more, really. So this looks okay as well actually. It's a bit more grim and gritty over the Nolan oil, but very quick, again very quick. So grey base, quick to do with an airbrush or a rattle cam. Literally dunk it in the dip wash, pull it back out, let it dry, and away we go. And then a very quick dry brush with white to pick up those highlights. So let's throw some paint on this. This guy's got some big shin armour. Let's start with the legs again. My brush is not very happy with me. Yeah, I think if you're going for a typical grim dark look, then this sepia/brown undertone might be a really good way to do it. I'm going to do something kind of similar with my fists when I get my little Leviathan box. So like I said earlier, use Vinci V's approach. Get the base coats down and get some streaking grime on it. So AK Interactive streaking grime. I've got about I've not got that much, so I'll have to see how I go, because I think they changed the formula as well, which would be a bit of a shame. So I might get a new bottle and start. There we go. It's been 30 minutes and my camera has dropped. I forgot to press the button. I need to make myself a little timer. There we go, I'm back in. That's not so bad. Yeah, so might have to get myself a new bottle of streaking grime to do my fists. But again, I want to see how quickly I can knock them out. This model, he's not bad. He took me an hour while I was working out my scheme. I think I can give him a bit more colour depth. So I'm going to undershoot. So yeah, it's not too bad. You can see it a bit sometimes, but I'm going to undershoot with pink and go over with a contrast yellow. I've seen people do that, I think, and get some really good results. So the pink ends up turning a bit more of an orange, and then you get the rest of it with contrast. And then once that base coat's down, I might do a bit of a zenithal highlight with a lighter yellow, but once that base coat's down, cover them with streaking grime, wipe off the excess, sponge weather, trim panels, some metallics, and that's about it. I'd be happy to put him on the tabletop, he's okay. So if I can do a whole force like that quite quickly, and play some games of attempts with a painted army, which would be nice. So I've let that sit, and a load of that orange has gone where I don't want it, which is difficult. Should have been paying more attention. So these have got quite a nice matte finish at the minute, which I think is probably good for the speed paint. How I use it, because I don't want it to flow too much. Yeah, if I don't flow too much and make a mess, I'll be quite upset. So this guy has more human skin actually. So let's just use our Crusader Flesh. Again, some of these speed paint options are really nice. That looks a bit chlorine. I might put some purple through that really thin coat after, but to be honest with it, the function of this model, it's not a display model, I'm not trying to make it a showpiece or anything, so I probably won't. No one's going to pay that much attention to a neophyte hybrid when it's in a squad of 10 getting wiped off the board turn 1. Let's see. Maybe I can figure out how to do some fun stuff. So I watched Tabletop Tactics, and Chef was on about a cool little play that you could have done with Night Crawls. They came from below or something. So basically you can bring up a squad within 3 inches, I think, just out of engagement range of the enemy. And I was thinking about using these, and then all with shotguns, and then give another strap to increase their hits. So a squad of 10 coming from below within 6 inches. It can't charge, but you can just shoot a load of shotgun shots into another squad, an enemy squad's face from 3 inches away. That sounds like a lot of fun. A bit of a shame you can't charge after, but then what is a neophyte hybrid going to do in charge? I suppose if you left a little gap and you could get some Gene Stealers nice and close as well, you could get them in for the charge and eat faces. Let me know if you would like to see this slapshot video finalised in one, just one cohesive video. So I've got a load of glamour shots and a few talking head shots, talking through a few things. And I'm recording this, and I can section this down and just trim out a few bits. Probably voice over a lot of it. I don't know. I might just make some shorts out of it. Make some shorts out of the process and detail the process on here somewhere. Leather on this on. So you'll notice I'm working very messily, and things are running into each other a little bit on the edges, but actually once it's all said and done, as long as they're quite similar colours, it's not too bad. It's not all running in and completely blending into each other, so I'm quite happy with it at the minute. Get some of the white on these armour panels, pick them up a bit. No, not that one though, because that has got black in it. What am I missing on him? I've got my purple, got my blue lenses. Could do with a bit of gold there, but yeah, otherwise it's not too bad. 3 models, 36 minutes of stream. What's that, 12 minutes a model, roughly. I reckon I can get that down if I'm not concentrating too much on streaming. It'd be good if we could. Just pick up these pipes a little bit of contrast to them, make them stand out. And draw the eye to the head a bit more. Good. 21, yeah. Okay, so 3 models done in pretty quick succession. What I'll try and do, I don't know. They look quite cohesive at the minute. I guess all the slapshot prep styles are quite similar really, so there's not that much in it. When it will become really different is when I've got some crazy stuff like this. So you can see that's a purple base tone with dry brushing on top. I've got a green one. That's a green base underneath, so that'll be interesting to see what that does to the colours. Another purple one, but with a pink dry brush over the top. That's going to be a bit wanky, I think. I'm not sure. Looks like another Nuln Oil one, maybe. Oh, that's probably a white with a Nuln Oil rather than a grey. This one's going to be super dark. It might be quite good texturally. So that's just black and then building up through greys to white dry brushes. So that's time on painting. That's the quickest or the longest, sorry, prep method. So while it looks great, it takes a long time. And then as a control, I've got just a plain white one. So I'll either paint that normally, or if I get to the end and want to retry something, maybe I'll try that. But I'll probably just paint it up in the same scheme and see how we get on and see how that looks. Thank you very much if you did join me. I'm now going to go and chill out for a bit because I'll be up early for work tomorrow. Because sadly this isn't work. Yeah, thanks very much, and hopefully I will see you again later. Cheers.